Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Cricbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now.
The list of spinners keeps growing, gentlemen. I mean, as if we didn't have enough being churned out from the cupboard, Bishnoi adds to that list. And we thought we'd prepare a list of India's spinners since January 2020, Ajay. And that's a long list with Bishnoi now added to this ever-growing list.
Yeah, it's a pretty long list. I mean, on one side, you could feel that you're fortunate that you have all these choices to pick from. But what surprises me on that list, surprises or shocks me, is that, R. Ashwin, somebody, whose class of bowling that you have is not even debatable. But the man was out out of the white ball cricket or, one-day cricket or 2020 for sure, for almost a year and a half, 2 years. Suddenly he was back in the fray. He was back in the fray. The World Cup, then he played the next series after that. And then not to be, carried on surprises me a little because, I can understand a young man that you picked, you saw something and you saw and said, maybe he needs time, maybe he needs something else. But when you bring back a stalwart into the side, it's to use him. Yes, I understand. Then the World Cup was over, that you could have left him there and then and brought him back whenever you wanted. But when they went in the next series with him, I thought, I'm happy to see him because I feel he's one of the finest bowlers that you have. And a great bowler is always good, whether what the format is, he'll find a way. So after that series to be left out again, I wonder what he must be also wondering. I mean, what does, for a player, it's not very easy where, you can be picked and dropped, that's fine. But when you're picked and dropped, suddenly you start doubting yourself. And I don't think, Ravichandran Ashwin will doubt himself. I mean, he's very strong mentally. But what that tells me is that, now for the next World Cup, you've already decided you don't want him. Because you've left him out too early.
DK, if we have a look at that long list, can we even pick on someone and say, okay, he is our frontline spinner? Or should it not be matter? Is that just a moniker and we say, listen, horses for courses, you play who you do in that particular day in that series?
I do think, just to rather converse with Ajay Bhai, that I think Ashwin is injured. That's why he's not there. It's not that he was dropped, if I'm right. So that is part one. Part two, your question, I just feel that, this series and Sri Lanka series are very good and very important and it will be looked at. But very, very important these days is how the IPL goes for you. And all these spinners will be in action. They'll all play and anybody has a fabulous IPL. Post IPL, I think, is when you can, kind of zone in and say these are the kind of bowlers we're going to see. Because IPL, everybody plays 14 games and highly competitive games, and people stand up at various points of time and do well for the franchisee. So it's much easier to, get in on the bowlers once the IPL is over. For the moment, I think everybody has an option right now.